I want to go right to you being on the field and get a little tap into what it's like to have you as a coach. And I want to know, what's your favorite position-specific conditioning drill for football players?
My philosophy in terms of when we get outside the weight room, when we're running, we're doing some drills, is I like to incorporate any way I can our conditioning level, our stamina, our basic recovery ability. Those kind of things are very important to me. I think no matter what, if you're not in shape, you can be big, strong, fast, all these different characteristics. If you're not available, you're not going to be a very good football player or any athlete. And so you have to have a tremendous level of conditioning. And on top of that, I love mixing any type of change of direction. I like to drill and doing it in a way that we're always in mind of keeping a fast enough pace that our conditioning level stays up there. Where our philosophy has always been in our off-season conditioning program that we're not necessarily getting in shape for the game. We're getting in shape for practice, because practice is where games are won, in my opinion. And your ability to practice at a high pace and get a lot of repetitions done and at a near 100% effort, or the kind of effort you're going to need to replicate throughout the game in practice, is going to help you become a better player. And so we're going to try to replicate that level of conditioning. It's very different because, especially in the NFL, obviously players are playing one way. Some guys are playing special teams as well, but guys are only on the field usually for offense or defensive plays, maybe a few special teams plays. There's a lot of TV timeouts. There's a lot of stops in the game. In my mind, if you try to say, okay, this guy's going to go for this many seconds and then they're going to have this much time off, and you try to replicate a conditioning level for that, they're going to go out to football practice where they're, going to be running a lot more repetitions. They're going to have much fewer rest breaks. There's times when, a guy's going and then the other guy's holding the bag, and so you're not really resting. And so we have to be at a lot shorter work-to-rest ratios than we would do if we were doing for practice. But really, I think I've incorporated some drills. It'd be hard to say over the phone or through an audio, but we do a lot of change of direction where we add a reaction, either a verbal cue or a visual cue to the athlete, and we like to have to make them think about what they're actually looking for and try to, sometimes if they're getting really visually oriented, we throw in some verbal cues so they have to listen, they have to hear some things, and we may, because there's times we're playing defense and you're watching what's going on, and you're also having to hear some calls that the guys are making and be able to process all that and then react to what you're seeing. And so we try to recreate some of those things in some of the change of direction agility drills that we do. And with some of the new NFL rules with the new CBA, we really have to be careful of what we do, that it's not too can't be construed for actual football practice in some of our off-season stuff. We can't have any contact. We have to really avoid some of the competitive things that we used to be able to do in the off-season program when we're just in the phase where we're working with our strength coaches and with the athletes, and the coaches aren't allowed in the field especially. But then even though when we get into the OTA things, we have to watch contact. And so we try to have to create some new ways of getting some of this mental and physical reaction down without the advantage of being able to just play football-specific stuff.